In the vast kingdom of Iyado, where the earth was rich and the skies held wisdom of the ancestors, lived Prince Jabari, son of King Kalumo. Tradition ruled the land with a heavy hand, and none was more feared than the rite of passage, a ritual demanding that a virgin maiden be buried along with the dead king to serve him in the afterlife. For generations, this practice has been bound to the people of Iyado, to the ancient spirits, ensuring their favor and protection. Jabari had always dreaded this day when the burden would fall upon him. His father, King Kalumo, was a noble and powerful leader, but as his health deteriorated, the inevitable loomed. When King Kalumo finally passed away, the weight of the responsibility crushed Jabari's heart. It was now his duty to find a maiden who would accompany his father to the other life. But as the days passed, Jabari found himself unable to accept the fate. His heart rebelled against the cruel ritual, and he now could not bring himself to condemn an innocent woman to such a fate. The elders pressed on. "You must find a maiden," they warned. The ancestors grew restless, and if you do not honor the rites, the kingdom will suffer. Reluctantly, Jabari left Iyado and traveled to the city, far from the tradition that bounded his people. There, he hoped to find a maiden to fulfill the grim duty, but instead, he found Inya. She was everything Jabari never expected, a radiant spirit with eyes that sparkle like a star and a heart filled with dreams of a future unbothered by ancient laws. As he got to know her, Jabari realized that he had fallen in love with her. He thought of sacrificing her to the tradition, but this thought was unimaginable. But the spirits had already been watching. They sensed his hesitation and grew angry at his defiance. One night, as Jabari stood alone, torn between his love for Iya and his duty for his people, Jabari sought the wisdom of the kingdom's ancient oracle, a woman named Imani. She was old as the hills themselves and had seen countless generations rise and fall under the weight of tradition. "You must journey to the land of the great beyond," she said, her voice like the wind passing through the ancient tree. "The spirits will not be appeased by words alone. You must face them and free your father. Free your father's spirit from their grip. But be warned, the path is treacherous and the spirits will not make it easy. You will face trials of mind, body, and soul." She handed him a bundle wrapped in dark cloth. "Take this. It contains herb, charms, and sacred symbols to protect you from their wrath. You will need all your strength and courage. If you fail, your father's spirit will be lost forever, and the kingdom will fail." Stirring himself for the journey, Jabari gathered the items Imani had prepared for him. He wrapped himself in the charms of protection and held tight to the talisman blessed by the oracle. With Iyan's tearful farewell and a promise to return, he set off to the perilous journey to the great beyond, where the spirits of the ancestors waited. The journey was long and dangerous. The sky darkened as he approached the edge of the earth, the boundaries between the life and death. The air grew thick with the mist, and Jabari could feel the spirits watching, lurking just beyond his sight. At the edge of a dense, twisted forest known as Shadowlands, the first trial began. Out of the trees came the first spirits, shadows with glowing eyes swirling around him. They whispered temptations, filling his mind with doubt. "You are a fool to defy us," they hissed. "You will never return. Leave the maiden to us, or your father's soul will rot in agony." Jabari felt the weight of their words pressing down on him, but he clutched the charm around his neck, a small carved figure of a lion blessed by Imani. Summoning his inner strength, he pushed forward. "I will not abandon Iya, nor will I forsake my father. I will see him pass in peace." The spirits gnawed in rage, and the trees twisted and swayed as if they were alive, but the charm horned hot in Jabari's hand, and the spirit recoiled, retreating into the shadows. Jabari passed on. The next trial came, the River of Forgetfulness, a place where a lost soul wander or lost souls wander aimlessly, having given up their memories to the water. Jabari felt a pull to the river's edge, where the cool, dark waters whispered to him, "Drink," the river beckoned. "Forget your pain. your duty, your love, you will be free. Jabaru knelt by the river, tempted to escape the burden of tradition and the spirit, but as he gazed into the river, Iya's face appeared before him, a reminder of all he had left behind. He could not forget her. He could not forget his father. He reached into the bundle Imani had given him and sprinkled sacred herbs into the water. The river churned violently, and the spirit of forgetfulness screamed as they were banished. At last, Jabaru reached the land of the great beyond, a vast, desolate plain where the spirits of the ancestors dwelled. There he found his father, King Kalumo, trapped between life and death. He found himself flickering like a candle in the wind. The spirits swirled around him, their faces twisted with anger. "You came to defy us," they boomed. "You dare question the ways of the ancestors." "I have not come to defy you," Jabari shouted, stepping forward. "I have come to ask for mercy. My father was a great king, but he would not want the blood of an innocent woman to follow him into the afterlife. Let him pass in peace, and let me honor him with a legacy of justice and not death." The spirits roared, their voices shaking the very ground beneath Jabari's feet. "You ask for what is not yours to take. The right must be honored." But as the spirit surged towards him, Jabari drew the final form from the bundle, a staff carved with the symbol of his people, a powerful relic, blessed by the oracle herself. He raised it high, and a binding light erupted from its tip, driving the spirit back. "You will not take her," Jabari cried, his eyes and voice echoing across the land. "I offer you my own spirit if need be, but Tia will not be yours, and my father's spirit will pass in peace as he is right." There was a moment of silence, and then, from within the swirling mist of spirits, King Kaluma himself stepped forward. His eyes, once clouded in torment, were now clear and filled with pride. "My son," the king said, his voice echoing with both sadness and love, "you have shown courage far greater than any I possessed. The traditions of our people are ancient, but they must evolve. I release you from this burden. The maiden is free." As the king's spirit spoke, the mist began to disperse, and the spirits, their anger, gold, faded into the thin air. The ground beneath Jabari's feet solidified, and the air grew warm again. The king smiled one last time as he disappeared. Jabaru stood in silence for a moment, feeling the weight of the centuries lift from his shoulders. With the spirit vanished, Jabaru returned back to his land. Beside him, as always, was Iya, the woman he had fought for, the woman he had saved from the jaws of the past. Together, they ruled Iyado, forging a new path for the kingdom, one free of shadows and one free of any sacrifice.